Many people out there have been speculating on that Meghan Markle has lied about her age. Is she actually older?
They say age is just a number, but in Meghan Markle's case, that number might be completely wrong. Because according to royal biographer Tom Bower, Meghan's official story doesn't just have a few missing pages. It might have an entirely different publication date.
They want to hide their secrets, and I just love digging away to find out what they don't want us to know.
Now, Meghan's built her brand on reinvention, Hollywood sweetheart,
Wow.
royal rebel,
Woof.
global humanitarian,
What?
and self-made survivor. But here's the plot twist no one saw coming. Her birth year could be the biggest acting role of her career.
This is a copy of 17 magazine that was published in March of 1997. In it, it mentions our Megzy is from Los Angeles and that she was 21 years old at the time of publication. That would make her birth year at around 1976.
It all started with a dusty copy of 17 magazine, a 1997 issue where a bright-eyed Meghan Markle was listed as 21 years old. Do the math, that would make her nearly 50 in 2025, not 44, not forever 30-something.
How can you get your age so wrong?
And that tiny number change, it rewrites everything, from her first auditions to her royal fairy tale timeline. But wait, it gets wilder. Her own father says her childhood memories never matched her public story. Industry insiders whisper she shaved off years to fit the Hollywood mold. And the palace, completely silent. Because once you start questioning Meghan's timeline, every photo, every milestone, every carefully staged smile starts to look a little too perfect.
This gentleman right here, that's Nick Jones, the original founder of Soho House. Guess where he's going there? He's arriving at Meghan Markle and Harry's wedding as guest of honor. Oh yeah, Soho was present there.
So buckle up, because in the next few minutes, we're diving into the biggest royal rewrite since The Crown. This isn't gossip, this is a chronological crime scene. And by the end, you'll be asking yourself one question. If Meghan Markle's age isn't what she says it is, what else isn't? Do you think Meghan really edited her timeline? Or is this just another media hit job? Drop your thoughts below.
And you're wondering, why does her age matter at all? Because her age would also have an impact on her ability to have children. Because if Meghan Markle is 4 years older than what we have been led to believe, it makes it even more difficult to believe that she was able to get pregnant so quickly.
Every mystery has a smoking gun. For Meghan Markle, it wasn't a palace memo or a leaked email. It was a glossy page from a 1997 teen magazine. Buried inside 17 magazine was a photo of a young Meghan, flashing her signature smirk, introduced as a 21-year-old student from Los Angeles. Sounds harmless, right? Until you realize, in 1997, Meghan's official age should have been 16. That one printed number turned the internet into a forensic crime lab. Reddit threads lit up. Royal watchers grabbed calculators. Even Bower himself said, the math doesn't lie. The birth year does.
And that ridiculous story about how they first met, the whole thing was a tissue of inaccuracies, to be polite.
If the magazine was right, Meghan wasn't born in 1981, but closer to 1975 or 1976, which means when she was auditioning for her first roles, she wasn't a rising star in her 20s. She was already hitting 30. Now in Hollywood, age isn't just a number, it's a currency. Every year older is a role lost, a door closed, a headline shifted from upcoming talent to past her prime. So the rumor goes, Meghan's team decided to rewrite time. Not a total lie, just a creative edit to fit the script of youth and ambition. And the best part, the magazine was never retracted. It just vanished. Copies mysteriously disappeared from online archives, and no one at 17 ever commented. Almost like someone wanted that little detail erased before it got royal attention. But here's where things start to unravel even more, because her father, Thomas Markle, says he remembers her being in her 20s, long before that magazine ever hit the stands. And if he's right, the story doesn't just bend, it breaks.
August 4th, 40 years ago, Meghan was born.
Her father claims that she was born in 1981. So if she was born in 1981 when Yasmin did that commercial, and like in 1997, she would have been 16 years of age, not 13.
If that 17 magazine story is true, what else do you think she's hiding from her royal past? Let me know in the comments. If the 17 magazine clue cracked the surface, her father's words shattered the foundation. Because Thomas Markle didn't just raise Meghan, he remembers her, and his version of her timeline doesn't even come close to the one printed on royal letterhead. In interviews, Thomas has said things that made even seasoned royal reporters flinch. He claimed Meghan was already working full-time when she supposedly should have been in school. He talked about birthdays, graduations, and family milestones that never lined up, and when he saw her official birth year plastered across every royal biography, he allegedly allegedly said, "That's not the Meghan I knew."
So there is something that is not connecting. There is something that is not right.
Now let's be real, Thomas Markle isn't exactly the palace's favorite person, but even his critics admit he's got the receipts. Old photos, school forms, work records, things that quietly hint Meghan might have been living a few extra years before her official debut as the fresh-faced actress chasing her dream. And here's the twist no one saw coming.
Never mind the hysterectomy stories that her family have told, but that would make it more difficult because that would make Meghan Markle near 50.
Multiple neighbors from her old Los Angeles neighborhood have echoed similar memories. One even told a tabloid, "She was always older than she said. We just didn't care. She was ambitious." That line, "She was always older than she said," became the internet's spark for Agegate. Because if her own father and former neighbors are hinting her timeline's fake, what else in her royal fairy tale was edited for the cameras? One thing's certain, the math isn't the only thing off. Her memory lane seems to have GPS issues too. And if you think that's bad, wait until you see how Hollywood helped her pull it off. If Meghan Markle had one superpower before she married into royalty, it wasn't charm, it was rebranding. Because somehow she convinced Hollywood she was a fresh new face when, according to some, she was already blowing out candles for her 30th birthday.
When I was just 11 years old, I unknowingly and somehow accidentally became a female advocate. A pivotal moment reshaped my notion of what is possible.
She claims that she was 13 years of age when she started to work for Humphrey Yogurt, in spite of the fact that Humphrey Yogurt has said that they have never employed anybody aged 13.
Let's get real. Hollywood treats age like a loaded weapon. Actresses lose roles not for bad auditions, but for bad birth dates. 20-something ingenues are adored. 30-somethings get told to try producing instead. So when Meghan's resume magically shaved off a few years, insiders say it wasn't an accident. It was strategy. She knew the game. Casting directors love undiscovered talent, and Meghan sold that image like a pro, smiling, poised, pretending she was just getting started when in reality, she'd already been grinding for a decade.
Jeffrey Epstein was also Harvey Weinstein, very prominent. There were members. Meghan Markle was just one of the working girls for Soho House. Call girl, working girl, escort, whatever you want to call it. That's what she was.
By the time Suits made her famous, she wasn't some fresh graduate with big dreams. She was a seasoned player finally getting her overdue close-up. And here's where it gets juicy. Old agency bios and acting databases reportedly showed conflicting ages. Then, they vanished, updated just before her royal romance went public. Coincidence? Or a well-timed digital detox of inconvenient math? Because by the time she walked down that aisle, the world wasn't marrying a 40-something ex-actress. It was falling for a 30-something Cinderella. Meghan didn't just play the Hollywood game. She beat it, and then exported the strategy straight into Buckingham Palace. But when the crown meets the casting call, the truth always slips through the cracks. And in Meghan's case, those cracks are about to become craters. When Meghan Markle stepped into the royal spotlight, the world thought she left Hollywood behind. But what she really did, she brought the entire PR playbook with her. And suddenly, even the palace couldn't tell what was real and what was revised for image clarity. Because here's where things get royally weird. Meghan's official timeline, the one printed on Buckingham Palace's site, plastered across press releases, echoed in glossy interviews, started quietly changing. Old bios disappeared. Age references, gone. Archived articles about her pre-royal life, mysteriously edited or 404'd.
I mean, everybody has seen that commercial. It clearly starts with, when I'm Meghan Markle, I'm 12 years old. So what is going on here? Why the secrecy around this woman's birth certificate? Why the mistakes in age that are so blatant for others?
And get this, researchers who dug into her early charity work, old acting resumes, even college alumni notes, found gaps big enough to drive a royal carriage through. Some events supposedly happened when she was 22, yet the documents attached to them were dated 6 years earlier. It's like trying to solve a puzzle where half the pieces were photoshopped. Tom Bower didn't mince words about it either. He called Meghan's official story a polished production with missing scenes. Translation: someone's been rewriting the script and not with Buckingham's approval. But here's the best part. While the palace has mastered silence, they haven't mastered the internet. Every scrubbed record, every edited bio, every vanished file leaves a breadcrumb trail, and royal watchers have followed every crumb straight back to Meghan's PR machine. Because behind the palace gates, this wasn't just a love story, it was a launch campaign. And when you merge royal protocol with Hollywood editing, the result isn't authenticity, it's fiction dressed in Dior. But just wait, because the next chapter takes us from rewritten timelines to rewritten biology, and what happens next makes even the age rumors look like amateur hour.
What if Meghan Markle was adopted? What if there more to her birth than just her age? Could it be that she doesn't know her own age because she's been lied to by her father and mother? Could it be that's why Doria doesn't have a bond with Meghan Markle? Because what mother leaves her daughter when she's 3 or 4 years?
Every fairy tale needs a perfect ending. For Meghan, that ending was Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, the baby who supposedly sealed her royal happily ever after. Except the story of Archie's birth reads less like a medical record and more like a Netflix script polished by a crisis PR team. According to official palace statements, everything was flawless. Serene mother, glowing father, discreet hospital, zero drama. But behind the velvet curtains, Tom Bower and a few hospital insiders whispered a version that sounded straight out of House of Cards. They questioned how Meghan managed 2 epidurals, a lightning-fast labor, and a same-day exit from a top security ward that normally keeps new mothers under observation for 48 hours. One nurse allegedly joked that the timeline moved faster than the royal motorcade. Then came the photographs, the ones showing Meghan in heels, smiling on the palace steps barely 2 days later. Fans called it miraculous. Skeptics called it mathematically suspicious. Because when every minute of your pregnancy feels choreographed for the camera, people start wondering who's directing the show. And the questions didn't stop there. The secrecy around the birth certificate, the vanishing of medical details, the inconsistent travel reports, each no comment sounded louder than a confession. If this was truly the most joyous royal event in decades, why treat it like a classified operation? Maybe it wasn't just about privacy. Maybe it was about control of the image, the timing, and yes, the age narrative that tied it all together. Because when the royal story doesn't fit the facts, you don't rewrite the facts. You rewrite the story. And Meghan once again proved she's the best editor in the business.
He describes her very well, and he does this by taking a look.
Absolute media manipulation. But I thought tonight this was really ridiculous.
People think her kids are fake. They think they're AI.
But hold on, if even her motherhood timeline bends reality, what does that say about the empire she's built since? By the time Meghan crossed the Atlantic, she wasn't just marrying a prince. She was marrying a market opportunity. From the moment that engagement ring hit the cameras, her Hollywood instincts kicked back in. This wasn't about tiaras. It was about trademarks. Look closely and you'll see the pattern. One week she's the humble outsider surviving the British snub. The next she's the fearless activist redefining royalty. Every outfit, every interview, every candid photo walkabout, all part of a perfectly choreographed rollout, straight from a Beverly Hills PR manual. Insiders call it the Markle method. Turn every headline, good or bad, into a character arc. Criticism becomes courage, mistakes become misunderstandings, and silence becomes a strategic pause for sympathy. And when public opinion dips, cue the charity photo op or the surprise podcast drop. Even the Oprah interview felt less like confession and more like content strategy. Lighting, language, pacing, nothing accidental. Meghan wasn't being interviewed. She was relaunching. She shed her royal highness the way a brand drops a failed logo. Out went the palace, in came the production deal, the new podcast, the Netflix doc, each episode another step in the rebranding of Meghan 2.0. But here's the kicker. The harder she polished the image, the more cracks appeared beneath it. The internet didn't buy the saint script. It smelled spin. Because when every gesture looks rehearsed, authenticity vanishes faster than royal approval ratings. Meghan didn't just leave the monarchy. She monetized it. The Duchess became a startup, and the product was herself.
That she arrived in London, full career, single girl, wasn't interested. Of course, she'd been coming to London since 2013, hunting for a man to marry. She wanted an Englishman. She was on a manhunt.
But when you build an empire on editing, there's one rule you can't escape. Eventually, the audience wants the uncut version. When the dust settles on Meghan Markle's rewritten timeline, one truth stands out. The palace didn't silence her story. She scripted it herself. Is Meghan the ultimate PR genius or the biggest royal manipulator of our time? Sound off. Who's buying her version of the story? Every missing year, every polished headline, every error that somehow aged in her favor paints the same picture. Meghan wasn't living a royal romance. She was producing it. And like every Hollywood production, it came with retakes, edits, and an ending that always kept her on top. The palace, silent. The press, divided. The public, hooked. Because even after all these contradictions, she remains the most talked about woman to ever walk out of Windsor Castle. But silence doesn't equal truth. It just means someone's still writing the next chapter. And if Tom Bower's revelations are even half accurate, Meghan's royal fairy tale might not just have a few cracks. It's built on an entire foundation of fiction. So before you go, don't stop now. The real rabbit hole runs even deeper. If you thought Meghan's age mystery was wild, wait till you see what she's been hiding about her family. Watch our previous video about Meghan Markle has a daughter, aged 30 today. Prince Harry speechless. And prepare for the twist that left even Harry stunned. Because on this channel, Star Spotlight, we don't chase headlines. We expose the stories they're afraid to print. Hit subscribe, smash that notification bell, and join the investigation. Because when it comes to Meghan Markle, every truth sounds like a conspiracy until it isn't.